We are back for round 2 of our Steel Stompy League. We're unfortunately 0-1, but we've won the die roll this time. We'd like to play first. This hand is great. Got turn 1 Thorn on the play. Can also power out a Vault Skirge. We'll keep. So obviously we want to play the Lotus Petal first, since otherwise this Thorn has opinions. We will see very quickly if our opponent has a Force of Will. And we're just going to jam out this Vault Skirge. It makes its life back sooner rather than later. If we get Wastelanded, we get Wastelanded. What can you do? Looks like our opponent is on a blue deck. Okay, let's attack for 1 with this boy here. Since we have double Steel Overseer, we're just going to jam them. I want to play this into a daze because I kind of wanted them to daze. Next turn, it's very likely that we'll just sacrifice the City of Traitors to start gaining life. Unless our opponent's on Miracles, in which case... Yep, our opponent looks like they are on Miracles. One of these poor little Overseers is gone. Creature, or land, great. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. We'll cast a Chalice for 1. Activate. Get in for 2. The scariest thing our opponent could play here is Monastery Mentor. I could also consider Chalicing for 2, or Chalicing for 0 to play around Engineered Explosives. I don't think that's necessary. Probably my best bet is to play another Chalice on 1, in case they have Council's Judgment. Yep. So the second Chalice on 1 means they have some way of removing the first Chalice, but it's not easy to do, and the second one just was going to put the nail in the coffin. It does imply to us that our opponent does have Council's Judgment or something along those lines in their hand. Keep in mind that with the Thorn, they can't EE for 0, or they can, but they have to pay mana for it, and it doesn't work the way they want. So at this point, our opponent's at 12. We're going to put them on a 2-turn clock. Given that we will have 3 mana if I go for the Inventors Fair sacrifice route, I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to hold on a little longer before going that route. And we got game 1, great. So now going into the sideboard against Miracles, Lotus Petal is one of our weaker cards. Phyrexian Revoker does stop stuff like Jace, but really they can just remove Jace. Warping Wail counters Terminus, which is great, we like that. Thought-Knot Seer answers their answers, like you can snipe a Back to Basics or something like that out of their hand. And Karn is really the card that overpowers them in the game. Stuff like Walking Ballista isn't quite as insane. We can shave a couple of these guys. They're still good, but they're not bonkers. And we can add some Ratchet Bombs. They blow up Back to Basics, they blow up Mentor, they eventually blow up Jace. They can pop for 0 on Entreat. This kind of seems like how I want to run this. It's weird adding these 4-drops and cutting petals, but I think being a little bit slower, going all in on a Lodestone Golem just to get it plowed is terrible. This hand, it's a 3 of a kind. It's a full house +2. It's I don't think it's a keep, since Wasteland is not good against this basic heavy hand, and these City of Traitors all sacrifice themselves, and Steel Overseers just die. So we're going to mulligan. This hand is a lot better. Ravager. So we have turn 1, Chalice on 1, which will likely get countered. Turn 2, we can play Ravager. Then turn 3, we can pop out Karn. So I think I'm going to put that on top. It gives us a very reasonable game plan. So if our opponent ponders here, which it looks like they will, that means it's either Force of Will or Bust on this Chalice. They chose to shuffle, which means that they either don't have a force or they're light on lands. We will find out either way. We're jamming this Chalice for sure. If they have a cantrip heavy hand that's searching for lands, then this is a very powerful hoser. It resolved, which means they don't have a Force of Will. At this point, I'm going to play... I think I'm going to play the second Chalice. A lot of the way that Miracles answers Chalices are point removal. And so EE is not that reliable and not that common anymore. It used to be a lot more common than it is. If this is a Monastery Mentor, I'm not super happy about that. But at least the Chalice, the one drops. Okay, yeah, Sea Council Judgment has to answer one of the Chalices. So now we jam out a Karn. I think I'm going to do it off of Inventors Fair, because I will gain 1 life. No, I won't. I will not gain 1 life, but that's okay. I'm not showing my opponent that I have a Wasteland for their Tundra, so they can't formulate their game plan around that. They don't know about the second, that they won't have access to this land down the road. If this is another Council's Judgment, I wouldn't be too surprised. The fact that they fetched a Volcanic here is interesting. Jace. Do they have to bounce? I think they have to bounce. Oh, interesting. Interesting call, opponent. Okay, so probably a Terminus on top, if I had to guess. Is what that means. So let's first play a Chalice. I'm going to anticipate the Terminus on top of my library. I'm going to play as if there's a Terminus there. So first things first, we jam a Chalice out. Actually, undo. First things first, we plus Karn, because we're anticipating the Chalice, or anticipating the Terminus, because it was a very snap brainstorm. Two cards, a Vault Skirge and a Mishra's Factory. The fact that our opponent immediately gave us the creature, again, implies that there's a Terminus on top. So now we'll jam out the Chalice of the Void. We're going to Wasteland the second white source. We're going to animate the factory. At this point, we're going to hit our opponent for 2 and destroy the Jace the Mind Sculptor. Terminus off the top. There it is. So Terminus trades with this construct. We're okay with that. This is a pretty nice draw here. Let's play the Ravager first. Animate the factory. I'm very likely going to minus Karn and make a creature, but I just want to see what's going on first. And I'm not going to jam my Vault Skirges into what could very likely be another Terminus on top. Entreat. It's not a Terminus. So they can entreat for 2 here. Fortunately, I can beat 2/4 I think. Shouldn't be that confident in it, but I think I can beat them. I'll gain a life. If nothing else, okay, well, the Steel Overseer is a good draw. So I have a few choices here. I could cash in this Inventors Fair, 1, 2, 3, 4, and minus Karn to play a Ratchet Bomb for 0 and pop it. That blows up my whole board, everything in the Angels. It's a full reset. I don't think I want to do that. I think I can beat these Angels the old-fashioned way. So now I'm considering whether or not I want to minus and grab this factory with Karn. I think I do. Let's pull this factory. So I will, it's the newly controlled factory. Yeah, I'm going to play Steel Overseer here, paying the life. I'm likely going to do some stuff with these factories. You know what? We're just gonna do it. We're hurting, but we're hurting good. Okay, so now this is the good factory. We'll pay with that. And we're going to attack with our factory here. So if they block with an angel, I'm going to sacrifice one of my chalices. Yeah. And the Ravager to trade with the angel there. So I can turn this into a 5/5 with the 1 sacrifice of the Chalice and throwing the Ravager. So I'm going to do that. So trigger on the stack, target here, and just like that, we have defeated the Angels. Notably, this 5/5 is now not a creature anymore, so if we got Terminus, we would still have this going on. Back to basics at this point doesn't do much. If our opponent has anything like that going on. Disenchant on Chalice, okay. Preordain. So our opponent just needs to dig. They need something going on. One top, one bottom. Probably means they have a Swords to Plowshares. And they're trying to figure out what to plow. The correct answer is Steel Overseer, if they're checking. They might be considering trying to hit this factory when I animate, but that's going to bite them. Cool. They realize that the 1 Swords to Plowshares that they have isn't going to cut it, and we got the match. I'll see you all for round 3.